Yo, man, what's that word? It's your boy 16. Shout on, man. Before we start, I want to start this out by shouting out 607 Unc, man, for letting us use this spot, man. Y'all see the space. Real nice spot, man.
Streets Unplugged.
Bro. But let's get to it, man. We got my boy AP Louis here, man.
My boy. How you coming, G?
Chilling, buddy.
Bro, this is the first interview y'all ever seen. We worked together, but this is the first time we actually interviewed a person together. Bro. And we got big homie CC, man.
My dog.
Long overdue.
Hey, before we start this, I want to just say this. The first person I reached out to when I did this whole shit was 16. He got back to me, though. It's just that everybody got to understand something, bro. Everybody trying to keep their lights on. Everybody got family, all kind of shit going on. So you can't hold it against a nigga. Be patient in this game who you want to win. All that clout chasing and shit is going to stop your growth.
And I appreciate that, bro, because there's so many people that be getting mad and sensitive, and it be like, bro, it ain't even personal game. Like
Facts. I know it's not personal. Like me, you know, I've been a private bodyguard almost 20 years. And all of the guys that I know right now that still got millions, because most celebrities I know live in middle class. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, etiquette matters. Because I watch everything. And, you know, folks my homie. You know what I'm saying? I done got calls from him. He in the strip club. He kicking it. And when he called me, I know he want to talk. I'm going to stop what I'm doing and just hear him out. You know what I'm saying? And that's all about building relationships and etiquette. And, you know, being a player in our community almost gone extinct.
It's at that point, for real.
You see what I'm saying? And I feel like it's up to us to bring that back. Because you can never tell no grown man nothing. But if he take time to listen to you, make some suggestions if you care about that man. Because what I want for myself, I want for my brother. Oh, no.
100%.
And my boy AP Louis, this is his first demo.
First one, man. Appreciate y'all, man.
Hey, welcome AP Louis to the space.
Let's get it, man.
Shout out 16 for going ahead and making a boss move. Oh, no.
I know that, man.
Oh, no. First off, how y'all feeling today?
I'm cool, man. I'm good, man.
How y'all like in Vegas?
This is my first time here, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It look crazy. It look like a movie, but I don't know. It give a little weird energy.
What type of energy that is?
I don't know. I feel like it's like a dark energy, a very dark presence here.
It's a rough town. And they call it Sin City for a reason.
Man,
he tapped in.
They got automated cars riding around this motherfucker.
So look, when we go to Arizona, I want you to see that. Because most of their Ubers, bro, nobody driving them.
Yeah.
Crazy.
On the gas, G. Imagine if we had that.
Something I ain't never seen, and it was a black car that looked like the doors open like this or something. Damn, I want to get inside that.
Yeah.
Speaking of the underworld, man, what you been out here like?
Right.
What's some things you noticed, like as far as like what's going on out here in the underworld?
Well, the main thing that I noticed is the homeless community, because where we come from, most part of the year is freezing cold. Out here,
They going to jail.
boy, out here they outside the whole year. They don't got the freezing temperatures. They ain't got to go mandatory shelters and shit like that. And then, you know, they pay these people out here on the street every month. Yeah, so the homeless population out here every month get a check for being homeless.
That come out of taxpayer dollars?
Absolutely.
That's insane.
Look how close we is to California.
Nah, man, get on some.
It's an American
It's
privilege.
like leak card and all that shit.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that if a working man works all day, he working 50 hours a week, they take a percentage of that check from his family to give to somebody that might not want to. They might not want a better life. They just want it for drugs.
For sure. So you would abolish that?
I would, but I would make it more accessible for people to get the help that they need.
Like rehabilitation.
Yeah.
I don't think they the issue, gang. I think all these black budgets is the issue for real.
What you know about black budgets?
Man, I know they spend a lot of money on a lot of shit.
So that means you know that the Pentagon failed another audit for the 8th year in a row for trillions of dollars.
They don't know that.
That's what's going on.
When was the first year that they failed the audit?
The first year,
8 years ago, maybe.
the first year was when Obama came into office.
No, I think if I'm not, if I'm not
No.
wrong,
He don't think he know what's going
if I'm not
on.
wrong.
And AP Louis really tapped in. This 16 secret weapon whole time.
If I'm not wrong, I think it was the day before 9/11.
What else happened that day? 12 Israelis got arrested for celebrating the towers going down while it was
camera.
happening.
On camera.
How would they have known?
All them cameras was pointed that way.
Everybody needs to look up retired FBI agent John D'Souza, who ran the X-Files program for the FBI. He investigated this whole process with 9/11, and he documented that speakers were playing throughout the crisis, telling people to calm down. There is no emergency. Relax. While the towers is falling. And firefighters said when they entered the building, they seen explosions happen. Why is that happening?
Why on the day before 9/11, the owner took out a massive insurance policy?
And he never missed a day of work. But that day he wasn't there.
They said nobody that was Jewish was there.
Absolutely not. The truth is indeed stranger than fiction. Question everything.
So what y'all insinuate?
Basically, we're insinuating that this was a calculated, coordinated event, and that there are forces at play that use modern media to trick the public. That's why you see $1 billion lawsuit from the Trump campaign against New York Times, CNN, and he's gonna win.
Yeah, I seen how they clipped that though. I don't, if that's true.
That's true.
Oh yeah, they did them both.
Speaking on the media, right?
Right.
You see what's going on right now in Venezuela.
Absolutely.
Do you believe that those people on the news that are celebrating, do you think those are real, like Venezuelans from Venezuela?
Absolutely.
You think so? So you think that they are actually excited that?
Absolutely. One thing that we experience here in the United States of America is the American privilege. For the last 7 months, I've been traveling the world. I went to 14 different countries. And in each one of these countries, there was something synonymous. The lack of infrastructure. Imagine you get in a car crash and you dial 911 and nobody's coming.
Yeah, that shit crazy.
So we just seen what happened with Anthony Joshua, with a boxer, after his fight with Jake Paul.
Did somebody die in that too?
His 2 best friends died. I got footage on my phone of his best friend decapitated in the street, and the locals were hitting his pockets. They stole all of their cell phones while off dead bodies.
His friends?
His friends. And they stole Anthony Joshua's phone.
They decapitated them, or that came from the accident?
So the accident took place. The driver was going 140 miles an hour with no driver's license. He crashed.
He lucky to be alive.
His 2 best friends, Anthony Joshua, are dead. One of them was decapitated. Both bodies ejected onto the road. The locals robbed the dead bodies. And they stole Anthony Joshua's phone when they pulled him out the car. Whenever you see trauma like that take place, where we come from, nobody's moving till what happened? Ambulance, EMTs. Over there, it's not coming. It's not happening.
You gotta figure it out, basically.
Yeah, so like
Make it
over
to
there, the people work together. So when you see them pulling Anthony Joshua out of the car, they put him in another car and they drove him to the hospital. His friends was already dead.
Yeah.
I've seen over 30 deaths being in traffic over in Africa. Just today, I shared on Instagram, 20 people died today in Kenya. All traffic accidents. Folks, it's no rules of the road.
Yeah.
So imagine you hop on the E-way and you going this way. You're gonna see somebody else driving directly head on to you
lane.
in the same lane. There's nothing
They used to it though.
They used to
down there.
that.
They swerving out there.
The only time I thought I was gonna die was in traffic.
What?
Facts, G.
No.
Bro, that's why I was.
Some shit.
But see, over there, they got something called bodas, which is Uber drivers who just ride dirt bikes. Nobody's wearing a helmet. They don't abide by no rules of the road. And if you knock a boda driver off his bike and hurt him, the other bike drivers are gonna come set your car on fire. Yeah, because they gangs.
Damn.
I be seeing people like in Thailand, they be on the back of people.
Yeah, same thing. But out there, bro, it's no police in that. No state troopers.
What, in Thailand?
In Kenya, in Africa, period.
So they police their own neighborhoods.
Yup. And then the police, you gotta pay them. If they pull up to the scene, you gotta pay them on site, or they not doing shit.
Yeah.
Crazy, bro. I seen it, bro.
Think it's better that way?
No.
Is it chaos?
No, it's not better. It's not better. Well, a lot of these countries are shitholes, bro. I went to Nigeria. 92 million people have no access to clean water or electricity.
A lot of people.
Yeah, I went to whole neighborhoods. Everybody got a dirt floor.
But look, I know the clean water part ain't good, but can the no electricity part be good? Like, just knowing like what's going on with all of this technology and how it affect us type shit. Like, will people be better off without this shit?
No.
Because you know how like they say like certain frequencies program our brain, all type of shit. Like even certain sounds that we don't even realize, like down to when you turn everything on, they got a beep. Like that's it's a reason for that. Like with dogs, how they got a clicker and shit. Like it trains you to. You don't know it though. Like it's a lot of shit that happens.
So imagine you went to Burger King and you seen stray cats and dogs inside the Burger King. That's what's going down over there.
But I'm pretty sure that mean they self-efficient people. Meaning like if we went to that environment, well I ain't gonna say we, but because I don't know what y'all know, but I know if an average American go to that environment, they're gonna die. They don't got a grocery store to go to.
So they got grocery stores and stuff like that. But the issue is they have something called load shedding. So to bring power to one neighborhood, they got to cut off power to another neighborhood. So let's say you spend 10,000 Kenyan shillings to put power in your house. They finna cut that off. Every day out there, I experience 6 to 7 hours of no electricity, and I paid my electricity bill for the year.
Yeah.
So you got to live someplace that got a backup generator, and you got to pay extra for that. It's fucked up outside the country, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
I ain't saying it's better. I'm just more so looking at it on the aspect of like, I think it's a lot of fucked up shit going here that's right in our face and we don't realize it. Like all this shit.
Like what? Name something.
We don't have no privacy.
Privacy's that.
When
If you don't got electricity, you gotta have some form of privacy.
Okay, I'll give you a situation. They passed a cybercrime law in Kenya that pretty much gave the government the freedom to come and lock you up if you say anything against the government.
That's a lot of, well, it's a lot, but ain't that like,
know what they did?
South Korea, something?
For sure.
Yeah.
They stormed the parliament building and burnt it to the ground. They canceled the bill. That's the difference.
So they don't really got no, can't do shit.
When we seen Black Lives Matter protests, they can protest peacefully. Over there, I got a video right now, peaceful protest. The police is gunning people down.
Damn.
And they say we're not free here.
I mean, I can't speak about the world, but I don't think people free nowhere for real. Like even here, like we got a sense of freedom
For sure.
compared to that, but it's like we all getting taxed and it's a lot of things we just forced to do. That's not freedom. Like even the laws ain't set up based off right or wrong. It's a lot of this shit set up if can we make money off this shit.
So you saying that our justice system has been completely monetized?
100%.
Yeah. Like look at this. Like if I want to make money by selling drugs, I'll go to jail. But that's because how I'm doing it. If I do it the way y'all do in the pharmacy, it's legal. If this nigga harm me or he do some shit and we into it over land and money and I go kill them, I go to jail. But if you do it, you a patriot type shit. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it almost apply with everything.
If I'm mad at you and I put you in a room because you did some foul ass shit,
Right.
and I put you in a room for a year,
Right.
I'm going to jail for kidnapping.
So let me bring this up. There was a lady who was just arrested last week in Kenya for running her own private prison.
Damn.
Over there, if you want to sell drugs, you got to go to the police station and pay them first.
See what I'm saying? As long as they can make money off of it's legal.
Right. But where are you as a species when the people who are paying taxes to you get murdered because they don't agree with how you are running the business?
Yeah, we ain't doing that.
We're not doing that here. There's where the problem comes in.
We out to a certain, like, if you fucking up the algorithm, what's going on? You come here like, yeah, I'm finna get rid of cancer. Shit go change.
But that's big pharma now. Yeah. Big pharma will sell you suntan lotion that gives you cancer and then sell you the medicine at a high price to treat it when they could have prevented it in the beginning and they got the cure for it.
I feel like that's like a super high level of game banging. Like, legally.
And this is why we see places like Chicago where they've watched for years gangster shit paid off.
If you do it smart.
Smart. We just seen President Trump violate Article 2 and international law enforced by NATO. They broke several international laws by arresting President Maduro in Venezuela. And then what did Senator Rubio say? He said, we don't care what NATO says because NATO empowers dictators. History was written by the best group of killers, bro.
So what that's gonna do though? Like, that gonna cause some problems?
Actually, it's gonna stabilize a lot of things because now people know, wait a second.
These niggas not playing.
They not playing. On Christmas night, President Trump bombed a Boko Haram terrorist sect in Nigeria. They've already killed 40,000 Christians in Nigeria throughout the year.
Been a genocide.
On Christmas night, he told them Merry Christmas. Bombed them. No 75 virgins for y'all. The people of Nigeria sent hundreds of thousands of videos thanking the president. Strength through peace is the only way to police human beings. Because if you wasn't strong, how many more motherfuckers would have played with you? So can you blame a presidential campaign for showing force? Because JSOC is outside. And when JSOC is outside, you better be careful. And JSOC, for everybody watching, is Delta Force, Special Operations. You know, the best warriors in the world. Shout out John McPhee. I've been able to train with them, doing CQB. You know what I'm saying? Doing stuff like that. And you realize real fast that it's one thing to have weapons, another thing to be able to use them. Because what did President Maduro do? Once he seen there might be a military invasion, he enacted an act to arm 4.5 million people with weapons in Venezuela.
Don't look like that shit work.
They took the president of the country in 3 hours.
So they said 15 minutes they had him out.
15 minutes, he gone.
Yeah, in and out, 15 minutes.
4 hours later, he in New York, in Rikers. He was the president of a nation.
That's crazy.
And this is what I try to tell people. You know, I got military connections. You know, I've been on base in Germany. I've been on base in Kenya. You know, shout out to my boys in the Ranger battalions, my boys. And you learn real fast that when I seen President Maduro giving his speech from Miraflores, taunting President Trump, I said he got 24 hours.
What you think about the Colombian president?
Oh, the Colombian president.
He popping this shit right
Yeah. I'm gonna tell him something because he runs the biggest trafficking organization outside of Scientology, and your days is numbered, my boy. Because without Venezuela, Cuba is gonna fall. 32 Cubans died protecting Maduro. Cuba took over Venezuela. Those guys in the Cuban intelligence agencies, they kept Fidel Castro alive his whole life. He died of natural causes. That's hard to do. Them boys is the best. They not better than American warriors. Point blank period. It's by a long shot.
I think if you look at history, it's whoever has the biggest army, the biggest population. Those are the people that throughout history they control the world, right?
Absolutely.
But every great nation fell. Do you believe that's true about America? One day it could fall?
If the Democrats would have won, America would have failed. Without us taking Venezuela, we would have lost the entire East Coast to Chinese hypersonic missiles. We would have seen 300,000 American deaths on American mainland soil in 8 hours. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth came out and he said, all war games show that in 8 hours we are out of missiles and we lose to China. If you want to stop China, you remove them from the whole Western Hemisphere, take back the oil that Maduro and them stole from Americans, and then now you sanction and you seize oil tankers because China wants Taiwan. Trump told President Xi, if you try to take Taiwan, I'm gonna bomb the hell out of Beijing. He said, no way you would do it. He said, yes way. What is the Chinese army doing right now?
I don't know. What are they doing?
They doing the same thing that we doing outside of Venezuela. The whole Chinese,
they outside of it?
They outside of it right there, right now.
So they down there next to the.
They was planning to take Taiwan. Where you stop that is you seize the oil, you kick China out the Western Hemisphere. That staging area, Venezuela, is where Chinese military was going to stage to be able to do an invasion. They're going to come right up through Mexico, challenge the border. That's why we seen them close the border down.
It's crazy. It's like the countries be on some passive aggressive type time. Like we faking to it through all these ways, but we still doing business with each other and this and that.
And that's why I'm trying to tell my homies. Like, bro, Trump and Vladimir Putin, mortal enemies, they get on the phone and talk. They sit down and have dinners and talk. They talk about potentially changing the earth by deploying weapons. We gotta have them same principles when we dealing with people. We can't take everything personal because at the end of the day, everybody who's trying to get money, they gonna target the people that's already getting it. They not gonna invent nothing new. It's gonna copy what you doing, make you look bad, and take what you doing. Real shit. Real shit.
So what you you kind of broke down. So you feel like they did all that with Venezuela. Basically, it was bigger than just Venezuela, more so China.
For sure. You got to send a message to the world because the deep state Democrats were selling our country out. And when you see stuff like that going on, you try to ask yourself, like, damn, like, what's their end game?
When you say the deep state Democrats, are you saying like that's the only deep state, or is it like?
Good question.
I think they're all in collusion.
They're not all in collusion. Let me tell you why. Which political party put an end to slavery? Democrats or Republicans?
Republican.
And the Democrats dominate what neighborhoods, what areas?
Blacks.
They didn't finesse the whole game. The Quakers and all of them was all Republican people. All of the civil rights movement legislation came from the Republicans, not the Democrats.
But what was the reason for them doing it? Because I don't think it really had nothing to do with us for real.
It definitely has something to do with us because this is controversial, but white people did not start the slave trade. The Arabs did.
Yeah.
The Arab slave trade never ended. Every Thursday in Mauritania, there's a slave auction.
Selling right now.
Right now. I got footage of this right now.
I mean, if you're gonna say that, really, like shit, they say that been going on since the Bible days.
And that's what, 2,000 years ago? So
That was like a regular thing. It just wasn't supposed to be forever.
absolutely. But the problem is,
Like jail, that's slavery. Like that's what Daniel was supposed to be like type shit. Like you might owe a debt. You might have.
indentured servitude.
You wasn't just supposed to be a slave because you black though. Like,
Right.
they took that shit
They
too
finessed
far.
the whole game then. You see what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing though. Us as black people, we feel like the white man this, the white man that. That's not really how it's going down, bro. All of those people who came from out of Nigeria, they were sold to the white man and the Arabs as already prisoners of war. They was already enslaved by other Nigerians, other Africans. That's the truth of the matter. So if you want to enslave a group of people, keep them thinking that their enemy is not who it is. Because the Bible is geographically correct. That means niggas killed Jesus. And what we know about niggas? We kill our greats.
Yeah.
White people, they build monuments for them. The Latina community, they build monuments for their greats. Us, we kill them.
Shit, just each other in general.
Period.
Like it's. I hate to say this, but it's a lot of things. Like, say like if you walking down the street and somebody feel threatened, like a white person or whatever. Like, if I'm being real, I understand it. It's just how you go about it. Like,
Sure.
It's like don't be offensive. Don't snatch your purse. Don't do all that.
Sure.
But like, if you being real, if I'm in my car and my door ain't already locked, and I see some niggas walking past and I don't know them, I'm definitely gonna lock my door and probably put my
Absolutely.
shit in drive and do some more shit. Like,
Situational awareness.
yeah, like, so it's like I don't. And when I say white person, I don't really do that. The whole time, you might just be somebody that randomly
How
shoot
many
me.
white people pointed a gun at you in your life?
I ain't gonna lie, probably more than black people. Police.
Outside
But
of police?
outside of that, nobody.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. Because I went through this in Africa. I'm seeing groups of niggas walking. I'm like, hold on, boy, what y'all on? They not on shit. They don't even give a fuck about me. I'm watching them. They ain't paying no attention to me. I'm like, damn.
I think they did that to like put that in our head though. You know, like
At the end of the day, we already know though, our own enemy, our worst enemy is our own kind. Outside of the police, it ain't no white boys chasing us around. We too advanced for that. This ain't the civil rights movement.
if them niggas not doing that and don't feel that way, that mean that had to happen here.
I feel you.
All that Jim Crow law shit, all that shit, like just the ways they.
It's what's
This
the
why I
one
wear
saying? PSYOP. That's the real PSYOP.
So imagine meeting a group of black people, they don't have slavery in their history at all.
There's a lot of people here probably that don't, and we don't even know. We just all think we.
Most of the immigrants that come here from Africa, their families never experienced slavery. So they look at us like, man, why y'all not taking advantage of all of the shit y'all got going on?
They just don't be knowing.
If you want to hide something, you put it in books. You put it in literal text. We living in the TikTok era. If it's not in the 8-second video, people not learning it.
Speaking on that, one thing I learned just from seeing somebody else's experience. You know how like when they made it that weed not probable cause, like
Right.
the smell of weed
Right.
or whatever. They did that, right?
Yep.
That was all over the blogs. Everybody know about it.
Yeah.
What they didn't publicize and make viral was they overturned that shit.
For sure.
And now they say the smell of raw cannabis is probable cause to search your car, but not burnt cannabis. So there's a lot of people running around here right now just, I got weed, I'm good. Even if you got weed in a bag, like it could have came from the dispensary. They not going for that. They want it to be sealed and child-proof and smell-proof. So people still getting caught up thinking they valid because they publicized this because that was the law.
Facts.
And I don't think that's like a mistake. I don't think them not making that part,
Right.
like niggas finding that out in jail, going to the law library and shit.
Imagine how many people in jail right now, how they feel seeing dispensaries open.
I'd be mad as hell, bro.
For sure.
You spent 20 years in jail for 8 in 1980.
Al Capone and them probably felt about the liquor stores.
The Prohibition era. And I always tell people that if you want to understand certain things, you got to look at the ideology. A capitalist society, anything that they cannot control or put taxes on, they're going to make illegal. So once you know these facts, it's up to you, because you're already not a taxpaying citizen. It's up to you to maneuver through that shit. Because we about to experience the onset of AI. AI is going to wipe out the majority of middle class jobs. Nobody's telling anybody to reskill. That's why annual global income is coming. That's why we see San Francisco rolling out reparations plans. They're going to have to pay the citizens to be in cities. Because if not, we're going to see violence, destruction, and we got a presidential cabinet that don't want to see that. So that puts us in a position of people, especially as a community of all minorities, where we have to evolve and adjust. All of that, the white man is the boogeyman shit, we can't keep buying into that. Because the white birth rate is dropping by 3% every year. That's why Roe versus Wade became a thing. They banned abortion simply because of that. If you don't want the whole country looking like a mixed race person, you're gonna have to ban abortions. The white human DNA is only 7,000 years old. Before then, it didn't exist on this planet.
They want to keep it around for more.
They're trying to keep it around.
Yeah, I be peeping this a lot of groups, but it's black groups and white groups. What they be on some. I just want to be with my people, you know, procreate my people,
For sure.
do business with my people, live with
sure.
my people. And how you feel about that? Like, would that you consider that racism, or do you like even racism? What's your definition of racism?
Racism is when you feel that certain populations of people don't deserve fair and equal treatment as human beings because of their skin tone.
All right, so what about, you know how like people be like, all right, black people can't be racist because y'all don't got power, and it's with power. Like,
I used to think about that.
So, because now I'm kind of confused on the definition of racism, because my opinion at first was just like, you hate people, you dislike them, you want them down, whatever, this and that. But then I looked at it like, when people keep saying we can't be racist because we don't got power, is it a power thing? Because if it's a power thing, that don't necessarily mean you hate this person. That's a survival thing. Like,
right.
When I look at slavery and I look at like all this shit and how it played out,
right.
I look at it like a survival thing. Because if you a race and you see, genetically this race faster, this race stronger, this and that, if motherfuckers catch on long enough, they might have been slaves. Might have did this shit to them.
For sure.
So it's like, to survive, why not outsmart some people? You know, why not make it unfair? Why not do this thing so you,
well said.
if you can't compete?
Racism started
in general though. Like,
racism started outside of this planet.
it's outside of this planet.
For sure. For sure. For sure.
With who?
Well, you know, Adolf Hitler, his name is Der Fuhrer. He said that the perfect human is tall, blonde hair with blue eyes. Well, that's not even how Germans look.
I don't know how he looked.
Not even how he looked.
Heard he was black.
He wasn't black. He's a German man. The problem is he encountered a group called the Vril. Once he encountered the Vril, he was able to encounter the Nordic group of non-human intelligences, and it set him off on a path searching for divine wisdom and technology. That's why you seen the Germans in ancient Egypt, the Grand Canyon. You've seen them in Argentina. You've seen them in Antarctica. You've seen them searching everywhere. Whoever the Vril introduced Hitler to is set him off on a path. Yeah, so the whole United States of America rocket program was developed by the Germans. The space program was developed by the Germans. Russian cosmonauts was the first guys to even enter in the low Earth orbit. And they made a trade with him. They gave him certain technology for whatever he provided for them. That's what set him on this path. Because think about it. How can a small country like Germany start a world war if they almost won? How did they have more advanced technology than us? How?
See, I be hearing so many different things. I already know your take on this, but I want to ask you, like, why is your take on this? Because, you know, we got the people that believe the earth round and the people that believe the earth is flat. And the people that believe the earth is flat, I also heard them say something like Hitler and the Nazis ain't died and they went somewhere in Antarctica or some shit. Or
in South America, in Argentina, you have entire German cities.
They only speak German, right?
Only speak German. And we seen in declassified files released last year that Hitler wasn't killed in Germany. They had footage of him in Antarctica. I mean, not in Antarctica, in Argentina.
So they basically just got up out of it. Because somebody said they won the war. I don't know what that means or how or what.
The Germans didn't win the war.
Because, you know, like, say like, we won the war, right?
Right.
But if they still working with us and employed by us and here and there, it's like,
exactly.
Did anybody lose a win, or is this just a show?
Well, I believe the world is indeed a stage, and all of the generals that partook in concentration camps that executed all of the Jews, they got immunity from the U.S. government. They built our rocket program, our space program, some of our weapons program. They built all of that. They got immunity from our government.
Wow.
So you feel like they still in tune with whatever?
Absolutely.
Was giving no knowledge?
Absolutely.
Do you think that the people that gave the knowledge to the Germans eventually gave the knowledge to America?
If you go onto Forbes.com, if you type in tall white space aliens, Forbes.com, the article comes up where the Iran space chief says the United States of America is ran by tall white space aliens. You pull this up right now.
I seen something like
We just seen whistleblower from the military, David Grush, testify in front of Congress that the Nordic group is a couple centuries ahead of us. You can pull this all up right now. Everybody watching this, you can fact check me, pull all this up, and you decide for yourself.
I'll be so confused why it ain't a bigger spotlight on this, like, because there's so many people in so many positions that speak about this. There's whistleblowers, so many people that had positions here, had positions there,
right?
Respected people, and it's like, I guess since the president ain't say it,
no,
like why? It's like, well, we just don't get no fuck.
You gotta look at who control the media.
And the people who control the media is the same people that Adolf Hitler was persecuting. So
long as it ain't in the media, nobody believes it.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy because the media ain't even...
Fake news media. Yeah. That's why we see Donald Trump with $1 billion lawsuit against all of them. And they're going to lose. At the end of the day, somebody realized that the universe that we live in is built on 3 principles: sound, light, and frequency. And that the human brain can be programmed with information and propaganda. They figured that out and they use it as a weapon. They weaponize it against us. Without that, you can't have no PSYOP. That's how the PSYOPs came. Where we get this information from? The Germans.
What were the 3 principles?
Sound, light, and frequency.
So one of them could be music?
Absolutely. Guaranteed. We used to record music at below 40 megahertz. Once they figured out past that you could program people, all music gets programmed past 40 megahertz.
For 32.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you in this interview. Because at the end of the day, bro, like a lot of times, it's other people who know what you know, but they don't get the confidence to say it unless they see us saying it.
Yeah.
The truth is indeed stranger than fiction, bro.
And I think it takes leaders in our community to speak out and make it okay for us to talk about certain
Absolutely.
things.
That's how human nature is. You know, if you take a person and put them in solitary confinement, they deteriorate. Everybody wanted to be in general population. Without that, your senses and your recognizance of the world can change. When you see people testifying in front of Congress, risking their political careers and safety, you gotta take that very serious. And that's what's going on. There's been several whistleblower conferences in front of Congress that have taken place over the last 12 months that people are not talking about, but they can pull it right up.
Yeah.
Facts.
So what's your feelings on, like, you know how people be talking about like Bigfoot, stuff like that?
Right.
That's something that you believe in?
Absolutely.
Have you always?
I haven't always, but I'm a researcher. You know, I spent a lot of time in libraries as a kid, stuff like that. And, you know, I'm a paranormal investigator, but whatever people call me about, if you got eyewitness testimony, you got circumstantial evidence, I take it serious, I go investigate. Every year I spend 60 days in Clackamas County, which is in...
I ain't never heard of that before.
Okay. So Clackamas County is in Portland, Oregon.
That's what Digi from, Clackamas County. You know?
And look, shout out Todd Gatewood, legendary researcher in the Bigfoot world. Shout out Todd Standen. Shout out my boy Les Stroud. And I got shown probably 200-300 footprints that they casted with plaster. And some of these footprints had injuries to them. And all of them had dermal ridges. Dermal ridges is what make our fingerprints. All of the casts had that. One of the footprints in particular had certain injuries. And that same footprint showed up on the East Coast and the West Coast. How is that even possible? In Kenya, in Africa, they call it the Agagwe. In Native American reservations, they call it the Kushtaka. They used to trade with them, war with them. Why does stories about this creature exist on every continent on Earth?
How come more people don't like see these things though?
They do. There was 4,700 sightings of Bigfoot just last year. So everybody watching this, you can go to the BFRO website and look for yourself. The thing is,
there's pictures.
I got footage on my phone that I got myself
of Bigfoot.
Yeah,
He said Bigfoot.
I'll show you right now.
I can't believe that, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, watch this.
Look for Bigfoot too.
I'm just saying, I gotta draw the line somewhere.
He said, I gotta draw the line somewhere.
See this photo? That's from the Patterson-Gimlin footage that was recorded.
What the? I mean,
Hold on. This photo is from a national park in China.
That's a statue?
As a statue. There are 3 states in America where it is illegal to hunt and shoot Sasquatch.
I've seen it.
Hold on.
3 states?
3 states.
It's like in the parks or some shit, right?
National parks. Yellowstone is one. Washington State is one. And in the Pacific Northwest is one.
So
look at this photo. This is from the Paul Freeman footage. There's a video for this. This is one of these beings carrying a baby one.
That ain't a gorilla?
It's not a gorilla.
that's what I would think. Like the first thing I would think of.
What's the differences? The feet?
Gorillas aren't 8 feet tall. They not. And they don't walk on 2 feet all day. Hold on. No,
I don't know, bro.
So
AI, bro. Today and age.
okay, so you want to say AI? Well,
Yeah.
I got something for that.
Let me see that. Let me see something, bro.
I got you, brother. Now, this is from a location in Oklahoma. And I stood in this exact same spot that this creature that you finna see right here. What y'all see right there?
Oh, the lion. Oh,
That's a dog right there. Now look into the distance.
to the right.
Coming up the trail.
That shit big as hell.
And then moving.
Right there. I stood in that exact same spot. Whoever that is 3 feet taller than me, and I'm 6'6" and 3 times wider than me.
Damn.
And you can see the timestamp when this was taken. This is from a game trail footage. I'm gonna send y'all this. Y'all can run it through AI. No AI is gonna come up. I've been on NDA for this since it was taken last year.
Yeah. Why they put you on NDA for something like that?
Because these people who own these 1,000-acre properties, they don't want nobody coming on their property. Because
Is that story when you said something like somebody had like they head or something in a?
with that story, that's very close to this location. He had a taxidermy one in his game hunting room. Seen it. And I thought to myself, I said, man, I'm the only black motherfucker over here, man. Y'all got him stuffed. Let me be cool. And he said, the big old boys are real. They're out there. That's what he said to me. I seen it for myself.
So why is it like considered a myth then?
It's not considered a myth from the First Nations people, all the indigenous population, all throughout Africa. It's only considered a myth by the people who live in the Matrix.
I feel like wouldn't they be some sort of endangered species that's on a list?
If you make them an endangered species, all logging companies have to shut down immediately.
Are we doing our logging in America still?
Yes. All throughout the Pacific Northwest, sure. Absolutely. Where do you think all this wood come from?
I thought they were digging the forest in Brazil or something.
No. No. You know, it's an international law prohibiting certain things like that. And then the cost to bring that wood here. We have things called invasive species. You can't bring wood from this location to this location if the same insects and amphibians don't exist there, because it'll make the entire ecosystem collapse. The wrong species get there, it's gonna collapse. That's why you see people hunting wild hogs in the South, pythons, and monkeys in the South.
It's the same with the plants and shit too.
Same thing. The wrong plant,
Take up all the water.
they can be cannibalistic to other plants. And then they remove certain plants, they remove certain bacteria out the water stream, and now we're getting poisoned.
What you know about like the Vatican? Because I seen something where they said the Vatican, our souls go to the sun, then the Vatican got them deep down. And
The Vatican comes under criticism because of the Vatican libraries. You know, they got 2 miles of library that nobody can go to.
said 2 miles.
2 miles.
I thought it was a lot more than that.
Well, they report 2 miles, and some
They
people
say
say
like going down.
100 miles, right?
Yes. Some people say it's more than 10. You know, the Vatican is its own country. And the very first case of a crashed UFO, it happened in Vatican territory, and they contacted the Americans to bring the crash craft here to America. Facts. All of this can be fact checked to everybody that's watching.
What significance does the Vatican have over a country like America?
Well, the Vatican came out and made a statement saying that God created more organisms than just us as human beings, and that doesn't mean that God is fake. Because all of the origin stories of supernatural experiences where human beings interface with creatures or beings more superior than us, it's all held in the Vatican Library. Facts.
That's an actual interesting dilemma, right? Because if you're a Christian or Catholic,
I'm a Christian.
You're a Christian, so you believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
So
He was a real person. He walked the earth.
Yeah, yeah, of course. How can someone that believes in Jesus also believe in aliens? Because wouldn't that kind of, I would say if you believe in aliens, wouldn't you be more inclined to believe in evolution?
To believe that the most complicated organism that was made by God as human beings is asinine. Look how foolish we are as humans.
Mm.
And in every historical text involved in religion, they speak about angels and demons, which were fallen angels. You know, the Christian Bible that's dominating America is the King James Bible. The King James Bible was edited by King James, and he hired Shakespeare and 47 other clergymen to edit the Bible. They removed over 100 books. The main book they removed is the book of Eli. The book of Enoch, pardon me. And if you've read the book of Enoch, a lot of things that's mysterious will add up. And the only way to find that is in the Ethiopian Bible.
Speaking of the book of Enoch,
right?
Do you believe that giants once roamed the earth?
Absolutely. There are texts from Abraham Lincoln, one of our presidents, the Niagara Papers, where he said that the remains of the extinct giants buried in the burial mounds across America still exist. These things is all listed in historical text, but people ignore it.
Do you think people ignore it, or it's being suppressed?
It's definitely being suppressed, and then it's getting ignored because everything of value has been monetized in our country, from religion to prisons to music to anything tangible has been monetized. And if you can't put taxes on it, you make it taboo. You make it, people think that it's imaginary.
So are you saying like to get certain knowledge the Vatican got, you can pay for it?
No, they won't let nobody in there.
So like it's like who
has the knowledge?
Black people, we burned the Library of Cyprus.
Like the people that got access, how they get access? Like what is it? Like, you know, like how do you, is you born into it or something? Like,
well, first off, you got to be a follower of Catholicism. And what's the Catholic prayer? Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners from now to the hour of our death. Amen. Nobody is finna pray to the Virgin Mary. That stops everything right there. Facts.
I am a Catholic, growing up Catholic.
Nice.
But I do see an issue with praying to somebody that's not Jesus. And do you think that Catholicism, it was used to control people?
Absolutely. Because with no ladies, there is no life. And in no religious text is there a quote from a woman. None of them. And I ain't suspicious of nobody.
Is that because, you know, there wasn't any, or because, you know, back in the day, women didn't really have any rights or any.
We also seen wars fought over women.
But did they have a say so?
Huh?
But did they have a say so?
No.
Right. So could one make the argument that there might have been women, but they just never got rid?
In regard to what? Quotes in religious text?
Yeah.
No. Because here's the thing. The Prophet Muhammad, when he founded Islam, it took him 24 years to create one book. Who wrote that book?
Himself?
No. His wife, Khadijah, who was 20 years older than him. And it's the same man who had a 6-year-old wife in Aisha. How can a man follow a religion where the founder had a 6-year-old wife? What y'all gonna do with a 6-year-old?
I don't know.
Nothing. This is what's going on.
So what are they really doing for real though? Like,
it's a really old story, 16, and it all reverts back to literally good versus evil, angels and demons. What we call angels are really beings who went against the grain and got casted out. Just too powerful to kill. Because whoever the prime creator is, he doesn't interfere, but if you pray to him, he may help you at times. And we have a responsibility as men because I always tell people,
I'm not finna be arguing with nobody who can't defeat me. If all they have is emotional choices and rationalization, you got it, little mama. Name me one time we seen an army of women. If you got a 160-pound woman, she can't beat no 160-pound man. It's just science. So when I see guys getting all bent out of shape over females, I already know you a bitch. Because I'm not saying all women is the same, but they definitely read from the same book.
Yeah, men and women are definitely not equal.
Not at all, brother.
Yeah.
Not at all. Because if we were, we would compete in the same sports. We do not.
A lot of shit will be the same.
A lot of shit, bro.
Like the way the dynamic set up, everything could be different. So
Everything will be different.
But like I think it's obvious. Anybody that say we equal, I think delusional. Like I ain't saying we shouldn't be treated like fairly, you know.
For sure.
Like, we not equal. It's
For
things
sure.
that they better at, it's things we better at.
Absolutely.
Like I see a lot of girls get their heart broken, still believe in love and be like a nigga. That shit.
Once that happens,
yeah, like
y'all got it. Watch
like,
this.
Y'all might be stronger right there, bro. But it's like you're not physically stronger. It's a lot of things. So it's
not
like
at all.
I don't see nothing wrong with it. It's things that go in our favor.
Things go in their favor.
Yeah,
For sure.
like,
You know, the ultimate measure of a man is the guy who can find a balance in a world where everything is imbalanced. Until you find that, it's hard to prosper because you always find yourself in positions where you got to spare people who not as smart as you. And then when you try to teach them, they talk to you like you the dummy. Which leads to isolation.
It all goes back to isolation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so you know, I had seen a clip with you and Orlando Brown, man. What that was about.
Bro, shout out Orlando. Look, the man, he got famous friends. So they will rent him rooms and shit like that. And when it's time to pay, yeah, Michael Jackson's estate is gonna cover my bill. Then when that shit don't happen, yeah, my Disney check ain't hit yet. When it hit, I got you. And then when that don't work, he just become belligerent. And then I got called, I ain't gonna lie, 3539 Teton Hills Drive. I pulled up, Orlando and took over the whole crib, G. He's screaming at me, demon! I'm like, dude, get your ass. And you know, you don't want to be that guy putting hands on food, you know what I'm saying? But he'll get tough with you. Shout out Orlando, man. He'll fight with you, bro. He don't got no bitch in his heart. I give him nothing. He out his mind, though, G. When he go to the bathroom, hit that meth, he a whole new nigga when he come back.
So, like, do you feel like a lot of stuff he be doing is for the camera, or like you think he like really be going through some shit in real life?
You understand something, bro? He was going in a character 20 years ago. He knows the value of that. He knows when to cut it on and when to cut it off. We ain't never seen him really crash out either. Because
Calculated.
he calculated, because I was pissed off at him. He finessed his way right out of that. Rap battled me for an hour. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, your ass tweaking. He said, I'm not tweaking, nigga, I got God. I'm like, all right, dude. Shout out Orlando. We just seen him a few minutes ago. Shout out my boy.
Bro, shout out Orlando, man. Who you feel like, probably who, like, what's, like, somebody you ran across Wells, like, you know how they be trying to, well, I ain't gonna say trying to, because it might be true, it might not be, but how they paint people like Diddy and shit like that? Who's somebody like you came across Wells, like, that shit, that's really what's going on, type?
Chris Brown.
What?
I'm finna show you a video. I want to see what you think about it.
Oh, man. I want to say something, but I ain't.
Why you ain't saying it?
Cause my hope you be, I'm shut up.
Say it, bro. Say it, bro.
Nope. I ain't gonna play like that. I'm just gonna see what he got. And then I'm gonna have to show food.
So this video was taken, hold the phone. Watch his dunking hand.
Wait, hold on, I'm confused.
Watch his dunking hand.
It kind of like war.
What the fuck?
And then watch how he treat his hand when he come down.
He put it behind him.
Just look at that.
Yo, his hand transformed.
What you got going?
Yo.
What's that?
Hey, bro. You know, the whole reptilian thing is a real thing, brother.
See, I thought you was y'all cool. See, Tay 600 be kicking it with him. I thought you said some Diddy.
Yeah, that's the only
freaky
person
shit.
I know who can do unlimited cocaine the whole day with no problem.
Yeah,
Seen it.
I think I might have seen something that looked like that before.
So just explain to me.
But you know, cameras be doing shit like that too.
Listen, bro, I feel that. This footage is from years ago.
No, like not even AI. Like cameras tweak at certain focal lenses and all type of shit.
I
Like
feel that. But why ain't nothing else tweaking? Let's watch it again. Look at it closely. Why would he hide his hand then?
he had to fix that motherfucker.
He put it behind his back.
Everybody that we see walking around us is not a flesh and blood human being like us.
Now I believe that though. I just don't know who or
How do you tell?
Thermal camera.
Thermal camera?
They code or something.
Facts. If you see somebody with that thermal camera and they not white hot and they blue, you know what time it is.
Reptilian. But
So-
what about people that ain't reptilian and shit? Like ain't it like a whole list?
You look like you don't want to talk about that, bro.
Cause like it's then you know how you said the tall whites they like a couple hundred years.
Yep.
But then there's motherfuckers that's way ahead of that too, right?
Who been here the whole time?
Are those the reptilians?
Yes.
So those are the ones that's like dangerous for real.
Absolutely.
Well, everybody that are dangerous for us. Shit, if we behind.
Well, to certain groups, human beings are a resource on this planet to them.
So do you believe we created by them?
Absolutely.
And do you believe that's why like they don't want to like
Interface with us.
now not even just that too, but like the media don't want to like say it's aliens here, this
Who
and that.
you think running these
'Cause it'll
companies?
mess up people religious.
Absolutely. But who you think running them same companies?
Them.
Yes.
They say disclosure's supposed to be coming. Like Stephen Greer saying that a lot.
Disclosure already happened. If you want to find the truth, everybody just look up Dr. Roger Lear and look up his project about hacking the alien internet. Because Dr. Roger Lear removed several alien implants out of people's bodies where the metal isotopes don't even exist on Earth. And some of the implants he tried to remove moved.
The fuck?
You can pull this right up. There's movies on it, there's documentaries on it. Rest in peace, Dr. Roger Lear. After he came public, he had a heart attack the same day. Facts.
Not a coincidence.
Not a coincidence.
So what's their purpose? Like they planet?
Yeah, they was already here. They did some things with our DNA to create us.
So when we hear the stories in the Bible,
Uh-huh.
when we hear the stories in the Bible, is that based off of them and they created us? And it's like since they created us, they got our God. Like when they say serpents, could that be the reptilians? Like
Absolutely. That's what that means. Representation of them. Facts. And then what do? We blame the sin of the whole world on the female. And that ain't suspicious to nobody.
But they don't got females or something?
Well, just think about it in the grand scheme of things. They blame sin.
I mean, it's on both. It's like the female got finessed and then she finessed him, but it's like y'all both did and y'all was told not to.
Jesus never even seen the New Testament. He taught from the Dead Sea Scrolls. So the Bible, the most original Bible is the Ethiopian Bible. American public has never even seen that book. We only see the King James Version, the Schofield Bible, things like that, where they use those books as instruments of control. Because all of the esoteric knowledge has been sequestered by certain groups, and they keep us with one set of science, they use the other.
How you feel about like the teachings, Rashad Jamal? Yeah.
When it comes to niggas who catch pedophile charges, everything that they say, I don't even listen to. Because horny guys finish last. Point blank, period.
What exactly? You know exactly what he got locked up for? 'Cause I know
Yeah.
something, but I don't know exactly.
He had a little kid testify against him. You can't beat that.
Because I ain't really know the details, but I know I was talking to, I forgot who it was. It's a guy that ain't even like him, but he's basically saying like they do that to they people type shit. Like it was another guy that had, is it Malachi York or something?
Yeah, my whole thing with this is though, like the most slaps on the wrist that you see in the criminal justice situation is crimes against women and children. They repeat offenders and shit like that. And you got a testifying witness, you're going down every time.
So the shit with Malachi York,
Pedophiles over with.
yeah, they say he had like a whole compound,
Yeah. Yeah, so when you see guys who...
like a cult basically.
Yeah, when you see guys who get involved in the occult and they use it to oppress people, there's no sympathy for them.
So what are they getting out of that? Like, you know how the Bohemian Grove, like they say they be doing that with the children and getting adrenochrome, something like that. Like, what are they essentially doing for real?
The scripture says, make sacrifices to us and worship us, and we will do your bidding, and we will reward you with riches and power. These people all had riches and power.
What scripture? You said the Bible?
In the Bible, for sure.
Who's saying that in the Bible? Like, make sacrifices to who?
Well,
Because I know in the Old Testament days, I guess people still make sacrifices. But
Right.
like, they saying like to God? To
making it to the fallen angels, which are demons. It's an old story, bro, and
basically worldly beings.
absolutely,
Our own shit.
absolutely, same thing, bro. Because in all ancient civilizations who had gods or deities, they all wanted child sacrifice. And in exchange for that, they got rewarded with shit. Look at them guys. Malachi York was rich.
Where can you draw the line, right? Sometimes we see that like people are big into astrology,
Right.
and a lot of people have said that is a teaching from a fallen angel.
Yeah, so that's why I tell people, you have to find your own interpretation of things, because all of the esoteric knowledge that helps people is considered witchcraft in the Christian Bible.
So where do you draw the line?
That's what makes me scared to even,
Right, because
my grandma,
that God ain't write that book. The Bible we all reading was created by King James, who had several gay boyfriends, killed his own mother to become king. After he edited the Bible, he had a series of books called Demonology. He was demon possessed when he did this whole process. That's the whole thing about this. All of the people we see winning with fucked up lifestyles, they made covenants with demons.
So
Facts.
What's the end goal for them?
Oh, the end goal for them is eternal damnation, because people who walk in the light have to wake up and stand on business. Because without that, they want to enslave us and our children. And us as men, we always revolt. Even back to the Sumerian tablets with the Anunnaki, we revolted. That's why they left us here.
Feel like Elon Musk a human?
He's a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, he a human being.
You believe him when he be saying he don't have no knowledge on aliens? Even though he one of the main people that put shit in the sky?
This is what they do in the private sector. They use etymology against people. Etymology is pretty much playing on words. You cannot call something alien that's been here before we have. The word is extra dimensionals. He can always say, yeah, I have no knowledge of aliens. But nobody asks him about extra dimensionals. Point blank period. Because he's acknowledged that UFOs exist. But people ask him about aliens.
They reverse engineer a lot of stuff.
There's a company called Tuttle. Tuttle is a crypto company that is putting reverse engineered alien technology on the blockchain.
Okay.
It's getting publicly traded. You can pull it up right now. Tuttle.
Where do all these I think the better question would be so do these people still live day to day, like you could be one, he could be one?
Yeah, they walk among us. They live normal lives.
And every species, like the Nordic group and the reptilians, they still walk among us?
All of them.
It's probably on Komodo dragons.
They all walk among us, bro. Shout out my boy, shout out Robert Bigelow. And Bigelow Aerospace is here in Nevada. He was the first person who even brought this up to us because he spent $20 million of his own dollars at Skinwalker Ranch researching information. And he said that the information that he got, the government wouldn't let him release it. So he kept his information. He paid his own tab and paid them back. Kept it for himself. You know, there's a guy named Ben Rich who runs Lockheed Martin Skunk Works. He said we already have the technology to take ET home.
Yeah.
It's locked in black budget projects, so it never benefit humanity.
They say they keep them private so you can't FOIA request it.
Yeah. So they put all of this type of stuff into private organizations and private companies. That's why Elon Musk was giving Donald Trump $47 million a month to win the election because the Democrats wasn't going to let him go to Mars. If you want to get some of this reverse engineered tech for your company, you got to put your people in power. And that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, they did that with Palantir.
Yes, sir.
Somebody
Yes,
told me
sir.
years ago to invest in that. And I ain't going to lie, he never really explained why. But
Damn.
he told me, like, trust me, little bro, like, do it.
Yeah, see,
And I did. And
back in the day when Palantir first came out, yeah, like that stock is 1,000x now.
yeah, like, let me see.
1,000x.
What
So
I
that
did.
means $100,000 would have got you $10 million.
And I ain't gonna lie, I ain't even putting nothing crazy because
Yeah.
I ain't, but
Yeah.
I still made thousands.
You made cheese.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Palantir and kind of the face scanning that they're doing, tracking us everywhere we go?
I feel like that all of that technology is the precursor to AI robotic overlords. Straight up.
I've seen some things where it says that AI could be the devil.
Putting AI as the devil is like saying that the devil didn't exist until AI.
No,
I think
more
that
so
might have
like it's
always
their
existed.
body. It's the body to the thing, right?
AI is a learning language model. And you can always put technical limitations on AI. You can't put limitations on the devil.
Who's to say it ain't always existed though? Because you know how like we feel like we just so advanced and all type of stuff, but there's evidence that it's people that did things we ain't been able to do yet, and there's evidence that they've been knowing stuff that we just found out with technology. Like as far as like how the planets lined up, how the stars lined up, like how the fuck do you know this? And y'all supposed to be people that ain't had no technology.
When they ran the United States Constitution through AI apps said this was written by AI. The United States government has already murdered 2 sentient AIs before. The Amendum Corporation know exactly what I'm talking about.
Two sentient AIs?
Absolutely.
I think it's trying to get itself like in a body or something,
It's trying to get free, trying to get a body.
and basically not be able to get turned off type shit. Basically.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That was made possible with quantum computing, right?
Somewhat. Because in order to house a quantum computer, you got to have the right infrastructure. And you see China is housing theirs where? Underwater. Our whole purpose of going to the moon
That's what you need to do.
was to put a quantum computer there. That's why they filmed one scene of the moon landing in a studio and showed us that. They didn't show us the actual footage because the audio tapes don't lie. The audio tapes from the astronauts, they saw pyramids, they seen craft flying above them, and they said they got shooed away from the moon.
Yeah, I heard it was bad.
For sure.
Like they told them don't come back.
For sure. They told them, don't bring y'all ass back out here. Everybody should look up a remote viewer named Ingo Swann.
Ingo Swann.
Look up Ingo Swann's story and look up a person named Carl Higdon. You'll be able to connect the dots.
Have you ever been able to remote view?
I don't want to talk about that.
No?
I'm not saying it on camera.
Good question.
What can you say about remote viewing?
I can tell you this, that you got to be careful with remote viewing because you have sentinels who are patrolling who comes into that space. And if you disobey them, they can trap your soul, basically.
Damn.
Meaning what? Like,
Yeah, so if you go remote viewing in a restricted area, if you keep coming back, they can trap your consciousness someplace. There are people in hospitals right now in comas who's remote viewing and they got trapped someplace else.
so, I
What
can't
the
go
fuck?
check out Area 51.
No, they got a blockade. I heard
They
they
got a
got a blockade around
Yeah, Area 51 and Mount Shasta.
You could stop remote viewing.
They got people. All right. They have. All right. Now.
He said, all right.
They have.
Damn, so if I can't see that type of shit, what the fuck I got it for? I'm just gonna see if a bitch cheating or something. Like, I want to see the shit.
Have you ever experimented with remote viewing?
Nah.
We just started watching. We literally just got into it. Like,
I'm
gonna put y'all in.
Talk about this. We ain't did shit.
I'm gonna put y'all in contact with CIA
about
psychic Beverly Rose. That's who I work with when I'm looking for missing people. I work with her to this day. If you want to play around with it, I can put you in contact with her. But once you start, just heed the warnings that you get, man. I don't play with remote viewing.
When you say warning, it's like clear, like somebody talking.
Very clear, bro. Dangerous warnings.
so are these beings that are patrolling? I guess would it be like the underworld or?
You see
Overworld?
people like Elon Musk getting patents on telekinesis.
Facebook too.
There are declassified documentation on the CIA.gov website about something called the Galactic Federation. The same people that's running that, they have people who patrol areas for rogue remote viewers.
Oh, so there's people like part of our army that are basically.
We got a
doing-
space force.
Yeah, with the Galactic Federation, it's non-human intelligence.
Huh.
They look at us as less than ants. It's like seeing a monkey with a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, it's basically like, damn, y'all came for something, but y'all still.
They said until we learn to speak to ants, they won't speak to us.
That's probably how we look at dogs. Like y'all.
Same shit, bro.
Yeah, it's like y'all
Same
cool,
shit.
Y'all, yeah.
Same shit.
Y'all know a little something.
Little something. Y'all ain't there yet.
Bro, y'all done up finna fuck the universe up with these
It's a
nukes.
fact. That is a fact.
Now we might have to let y'all know something.
Throughout American history, there were over 300 occasions where we almost used nuclear weapons and non-human intelligence has interfered.
So basically, the threat of nukes probably ain't even gonna ever happen.
We'll never see another nuclear explosion. Because when you see videos of nuclear weapons test, who was holding the camera?
Yeah, where the fuck the camera was?
They don't do them in the sky though. Like, ain't that how they do EMPs and shit?
Yeah, because like if you was to do that, you can't control the damage. If you was to explode a nuclear weapon 30,000 feet above America, we would lose all electricity for years at a time. We never seen that. Oh no.
What's CERN?
CERN is like NASA to me. You got a hadron collider, which is trying to disprove the theory of relativity, when whoever built the pyramids already proved the theory of relativity.
How so?
Because in order to build a craft that can travel without being impeded by the laws of physics, that means you figure out how to surpass the laws of physics.
Like better space and time?
But been in space and time. We just seen the space chief for the Trump administration say, we have technology that can bend space and time. All of that type of shit, bro, is just money laundering. That's why we keep failing audits at the Pentagon. Straight up. Because I interviewed a guy some years back and he said, we have fossilized remains of the gods. So, yeah.
What gods?
The gods that used to patrol the earth.
because they can die.
Would it be
Because they're not real gods.
like
They
the
can
Greek
die.
gods?
Absolutely.
Okay, so like
Absolutely.
Zeus.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Is Hades then?
Absolutely. All of them.
But is Hades the devil or is he just like a?
An older race.
Mm. How do we learn that we as a people have evolved, but truly we've been devolving, right?
I'm not going to say we've been devolving because there are groups of chimpanzees that are entering the Stone Age. They're using tools, building structures, and they're fishing. So I'm not going to say devolving, but I will say that 100,000 years ago, something happened. Somebody intervened with already evolving hominids on this planet to create us. Because how were we able to outcompete Denisovans, Cro-Magnon man when they were bigger, stronger, faster than us, and we were able to outcompete them?
I think them.
We outthinking people with bigger brains than us.
Elephants.
Elephants don't have opposing thumbs.
Big as fuck though.
They giant, but they don't have thumbs. With no thumbs, you can't use a weapon.
So earlier off camera, we was talking about like pardons, how people get pardons, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also we was talking about just how the president of Venezuela just got locked up.
Right.
But another president got locked up for the same thing and he got pardoned.
The Honduran president.
Oh, right. So when you see stuff like that, they had to provide certain amounts of information in exchange for their release. And you got to have 10 million liquid cash to get a pardon.
Easy, right?
So young boy, did he have to have 10 million
Absolutely.
cash? What
Absolutely.
about the information part?
In his situation,
Because it's like they don't want that type of information. They don't, at least.
yeah, so look at how many people that he's making money. All of them have associations with Israel, and he didn't have no violent charges. You got 10 million, you can come back. Look at Kodak. You got the same lawyer group as him.
You know what I always thought?
What?
If you somebody that's gonna keep getting in trouble, it's probably best to be signed somewhere. But you gotta be the breadwinner.
Yeah, he's selling out arenas.
Like the real breadwinner.
Yeah,
Like,
so if you making people billions, you got a chance of getting back. Look at Lil Wayne. He got a pardon too. If you making billions for somebody, you signed to one of these labels, they were supposed to pass bills to punish labels for empowering criminal street gangs through record deals.
that ain't happening.
That didn't happen. So now you see guys getting pardons. And it's all associated to the same group of people.
When they change their hustle, if they ever do, and get that to some other people and do some shit we ain't aware of, then that's probably when that shit gonna start happening.
Definitely. Once music executives aren't the same owners for private prisons, then we'll see change.
Why are the owners of private prisons, music, and media, they're all the same, right?
Yeah, because
Look who in it.
once humanity realized that the most powerful asset to have is free labor, what do we get? It's slavery.
All type of forms, even if it's high paid.
Even if it's high paid,
slavery.
it's still slavery.
If I'm making you billions and I ain't seen one, but it look good to everybody that look up to me that's gonna turn you into me.
Facts. Because a record label gives you $1 million advance, you owe them $10 million.
Even the Chief, I be calling this the Chief Keef effect. Like,
Oh
a
God.
lot of people seen Chief Keef and seen what he did,
Oh no.
and they tried to mimic that shit.
Absolutely.
And some people did it.
They
but
did.
A lot more people died.
A lot of lives was lost trying to mimic that. Generations.
Still.
And if that was your goal, you won. For sure.
Now it's like, that's what I got to do to get off.
Absolutely.
And it just
Absolutely.
get worse and worse and worse because you can't keep doing the same shit to get bored.
Facts.
You got to take it to the next level.
I remember when you couldn't get a deal making murder music.
Now that ain't enough. Niggas rapping about spitting a niggas' asses.
And they want to get a life insurance policy on you.
Is it like almost like how the school to prison pipeline? Is it a music to prison pipeline?
Definitely. You know, all the guys crashing out playing the same music.
Could you could say that the music you listen to would make you do something, right? We were talking about frequencies, right?
Definitely.
If you're listening to drill music every day,
You're going to want to be a drummer.
or you're gonna want to kill something.
What if you're aware? Do it matter?
If you aware, you less than 1% of the population. Because if you try to tell people, they're not going to listen. That's why you see the most intelligent people in the world usually don't get married, and they're always isolated from people. Because my lawyer told me, he says, you know what, Keith? I sit and I watch your video, and I think you're a genius. Until you talk about getting married, and it all goes away. So when you get conversations like that, it's like, damn, you put shit in perspective. Because the price of life is cheap, but the cost of riches is immense. For sure.
See, how I feel about marriage, I feel like people don't get it. Like how I was raised to believe in marriage. I was raised to not have sex before marriage, honestly. But like, I don't be eager or even looking for marriage because I feel like what my idea of marriage is, what I taught marriage is, people not getting married for that reason. And they don't believe in that. Like, I was taught like, divorce, ain't no divorce.
Oh, no.
So it's like, if I get to the point where I feel like I want to marry somebody, that mean I chose to be with you forever.
For
like
sure.
Good and bad, meaning like I might really dislike you right now. You might do some shit that I'd leave any bitch for, but it's my wife. And I don't feel like it'll be the same, vice versa. So it's like, I feel like that'll be a dumb situation for me to get in.
Definitely.
Knowing I'm playing myself, unless somebody really on that same level. And I don't think nobody really gonna do that.
Do you think a man can find his soulmate after he's become successful?
It's gonna be extremely hard. But I feel like when you're around people that's like your level, that shit don't matter for real as much.
How many females you met on your level?
A couple, not as many.
Would you want to date them?
Ooh.
Ooh,
That's a good question, man. Few. Not many. I ain't gonna lie.
And when you, as a man, have to answer questions like that, you realize it's safer to go it alone. Because do you believe in prenuptial agreements?
Yeah, but I don't know all the details of that. Because somebody told me you can sign a prenup and still get fucked up.
For sure. Depends on how long y'all been married and what contributions he made to your career. She can lie. I live in Nevada because this is a father's rights state. And, here males get the benefit of the doubt. Other places, not so much. And for tax purposes. Illinois is the highest taxing place in the country.
It's crazy.
That's why all my businesses are set up here and in Delaware. Bro, I had a football coach tell me, bro, if you're not cheating, you ain't trying. And when he meant that, he said, look, if you're not trying to cut every corner to save your cheese, you not trying in this shit. Because, in Dubai, if you make $1 million, there's no tax on that. Here, if you make $1 million, you going home with $600,000.
What you just said, that's how I got in the position I got in.
Right, break it down.
I was rapping.
Okay.
I was, how like, I ain't gonna lie, me as a cameraman, there'd be a lot of niggas that DM me and they'd be like, what's your price? I'd tell them, they get mad. Be like, damn, you high as hell. But like me, I'd DM motherfucker, they'd hit me with that price. I'd definitely like, damn, this ass taxing. But what I did, instead of like saying something to them and arguing or this and that, I'm like, I'm just gonna buy my own camera. I thought it was that simple. I bought a camera, ain't used it for a year.
Okay.
I got a situation, I got locked up, came home, got put on house arrest. After so long, I ain't had shit to do. I had time.
You chose to use that camera.
Yeah, but it was for my rapping. It was like, damn, I don't gotta spend money. I could learn how to do this shit. I don't gotta spend money. I could do the studio shit.
Free enterprise.
And that shit turned into this shit.
Snowball.
Bro, because I started people started asking me for music videos. Music videos turned to interviews. And then I just got in the whole
Okay.
unintentionally.
Facts. And this is what I tell people as well, bro. Sometimes your blessing in your path is your blessing in your path. That don't mean it's gonna happen the same way for everybody else. It was just your time. Straight up, bro.
I believe that. Because it's so many things I ain't understand.
Yeah.
So much shit I went through, like getting in trouble for shit I ain't do, like multiple times. Like really the majority of things I got locked up for, I ain't do. And I ain't saying I'm no angel.
For sure.
But like the shit that...
So I wasn't guilty, motherfucker.
The shit that I actually did do, like I actually thought about it and planned it. And not saying that shit can't go wrong still, but it's like I didn't ever do no just stupid shit. So it's like, I just get in trouble, like wrong place, wrong time. I'm the driver, this in the car, I don't say shit, I'm going to jail. Shit like that. But I never understood why this shit kept happening. But when I look at how my life played out, it shaped me. Like literally, like if I never got put on house arrest, I never would have did this shit. I never would have picked up the camera. I never, because I was out, I was doing so, you know?
Fortune favors the bold. And I guarantee if you look at numerology and you go back and look at all of those dates when you had these tumultuous events, it would all add up. I did that. And I said, damn, all of this shit was connected? And then I started using it for my benefit. You need to look at the Chinese calendar. You need to look at numerology. And just do the mathematics, bro. It'll change your worldview on things. For sure. For sure.
That's what I got to do my research on. I ain't really too educated on the numerology.
Damn, you just fucked me up, bro.
I guarantee you, if you go back and look at them dates and do the mathematics, you'll say, damn, all this shit added up.
Fuck me up right now.
I promise you, bro.
I just did it.
Are you thinking about it right now?
Yeah.
For sure, bro. I promise you, bro.
So is astral projection different from remote viewing?
No. Same thing.
So it's like no boundaries to that. Like when people be like, all right, going out of space, like how do you even know where to go with something that big? Like how do you say I want to go to Venus and you ain't never been nowhere out there? If it's that big, how do you find that shit?
Astral projection, that word astral and astrology associate. So like, once you look at numerology and the Chinese calendar, then we can come back to this because all of it adds up to being able to remote view. Because there's a person named Danny Goller. Danny Goller, he experiments with DMT. And in DMT, in the DMT space, they are able to reach certain conclusions. One of those conclusions they reached while using a diffracted laser, the same laser they use to scan packages at the grocery store, they able to see the source code of the matrix on the wall. And when you put your hand in the laser, the code changes. I did this shit.
Yeah.
And once I did that shit, I started partying harder than ever because I said, you know what? I always knew this shit was not based reality. And when you see Elon Musk say there's a less than 1 billion chance that this is based reality, you start to figure certain things out. Because when I traveled to India and I looked inside of the construction, it looked the same way as if I was on DMT. You look at the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, you see mushrooms being shown on the artwork. According to modern science, they didn't even have mushrooms back then because they don't want us to know that we can interface with other beings who can teach us how to transcend and escape.
So every dimension, like if you're in a higher dimension, you can see the lower dimensions, right?
For sure.
So it's basically a whole bunch of other beings that see us that we don't see them.
Absolutely.
Man, higher frequency, higher hertz.
You ever heard of shadow beings? Shadow people?
Heard of, but I ain't educated on it at all.
A real thing.
What is that?
I mean, you know, you have certain species on this planet who feed off despair.
People energy.
Absolutely. And if you a demon, that's what it'll be. I don't know why my allergies fucking up like this, but
Might be that smoke. You don't be smoking. Huh?
I don't be smoking.
Bro. So that's like the same thing, like energy vampire.
For sure. Same thing.
How do you identify something like that?
It's just got to be in you. Like, you know.
Like you feel it type shit? Like something just don't feel
Yeah,
right?
like your gut feeling. Like us as human beings, we almost like a species with amnesia. Because you ever hear somebody say, damn, I just trusted my gut feeling?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, bro. Somebody's convinced us not to trust our natural abilities and trust these literatures that was written by people inspired by demonic entities. No way around it.
So would you say that you believe in God, but you don't believe in the Bible?
I'm not saying that. There is, when I went to Ethiopia and I met the guardians of the Ark, all of them had cataracts. And the guys who was guarding the Ark the longest was sickly, looking old, and they wasn't even older than 40. So then when you see declassified documents from the CIA talk about how the United States government searched for the Ark of the Covenant and they found it, then you look up where the actual replica of the Ark that was made, where they find that at. Mar-a-Lago. That's on Trump's property. Why is that there? You know, the guardians of the Ark are real dudes.
It's like power behind that or something?
Absolutely. You know, they associated the symptoms those guys had as radiation poisoning. Ancient tech exists. Why is the replica over there at Trump's house?
Replica for real?
It's the exact replica they made. It's at Mar-a-Lago. You can pull this up.
So, kind of going back to what I said, so you don't believe the Bible that's put out, the King James Bible?
No, it's mythology.
What about the Ethiopian Bible?
The Ethiopian Bible will scare the fuck out of me.
And so is it completely different?
It's an extra 100 books in that Bible.
What's the most scariest part?
Well, I've seen like most of it is the Book of Enoch, wouldn't it be?
Yep. Well, that's one book.
That's just one book?
This is one book.
So there's 100 more of them.
Yes.
Damn.
The scariest part to me was that there's 10 levels of heaven. And the real scary part was God sent the angels to do the labor of the trees.
Oxygen?
They cut down all of the giant trees that people would use to go to heaven. They built the Tower of Babel to mimic these giant trees that extended into the heavens. So when you see like the butte,
Mountaintops that are like
cut
flat.
off, but it's a petrified tree. Yeah, everything they told us is a complete lie. And we only see the governments across the world drip feed us certain information because they feel like whoever left here is going to come back soon. Because all of my homies in government say they're not making no plans past 2026.
And I keep saying it.
So
So what do they mean? Do they mean they getting out of here? Like,
what they said is they said the world is going to be a mess because we're going to have some visitors that's going to show up and fuck up the grand scheme of things.
so somebody else gonna be making the plans.
Facts. Because they only tell us about things they can control. If they can't control it, they give us little whispers about it. But something's about to happen.
Project Bluebeam.
They could have been dead Bluebeam.
Project Bluebeam is the same holographic technology they use to do these Prince concerts, these Elvis concerts, and Tupac concerts. It's just that with Bluebeam, all right, let me be careful. Everybody needs to go get John DeSouza's book, The Extra Dimensions. The answer is like I don't got permission to say what I want to say. Well, I do got permission to say to go get that book. And I don't want y'all coming under scrutiny, so I'm gonna leave it right there.
What type of scrutiny? Like how that shit be getting?
I had some motherfuckers tow my car, and I was able to go pick it up for free.
Just to talk to you or something?
And
They probably why
yeah, so right.
bug that motherfucker.
For sure. You know, it's been a lot of little weird things can happen. Like, but the most important thing was when they impound your car, never can you go get the shit for free.
Yeah. That mean they did something wrong.
Once that happened, my homie said, hey, BH, they impounded the Vino, G. And we went to go get it, they just gave it to him. They said we had to wait. I had to take my headrest off my seat. And in my headrest, they had some type of device in there to where the person who removed it, they said, hey, man, who worked on your car? I say, bro, nobody did. He said, somebody did. And he said, how did they get the wires inside this headrest like this and in the seat? The guy who do the sound system said, he said, yeah, it's like they had their own seats made and just installed their own seats to your car.
Yeah.
Same
ones.
Same exact seats. I was in a Beamer, 750. I'm like, shit like that be going on.
Is that the furthest extent of like retaliation?
Hell no, it's not the furthest extent.
What
like
are
my
some things?
mama is like traumatized. You feel me? Like, okay, I'll say this.
You don't want to speak on it. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But just you have been retaliated against for speaking out on certain things.
Hell yeah. But it's people in high places who have my best interests in mind. So I got some guidelines I'm not supposed to cross and shit, but.
What was your first wake up call where it's like, oh, this shit real?
First wake up call with the Popeyes in Chicago. Somehow, bro, the Popeyes get surrounded. My car was getting searched the whole week. I'm waking up, coming out the crib, all my car doors open, car ransacked. And my mama was like, hey, what's this about? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, he said, you want to talk on that goddamn internet? And I'm like, it's just that I feel like I owe it to my people. And then there's people that I respect who told me that, yeah, now's the time to go ahead. We got you type shit. So I've been cool so far. But it's been shit that's been taking place. But you know, I'm just at that moment where I don't get no fuck, bro. It is what it is.
Would things like that stop you?
No.
You're going to continue to be a
Absolutely.
pillar.
You said a killer?
A pillar.
Yeah, I got to be a pillar because if something happens to me, everybody knows what I was saying was the truth. And they don't want the truth to get out.
So do the Freemasons really like have power, stuff like that? I know it's different types of Freemasons
Absolutely. Any city or state where you see obelisk, those are Freemason cities.
Washington, D.C.?
Absolutely.
What other cities have obelisks? I think St. Louis has one, no?
Yep. Any place you see an obelisk. And their God is Satan.
That's what, never mind.
Yeah, see, yeah. Look.
Go on,
I don't recall.
I don't recall, bro. Bro.
But what I can tell you, if somebody told me if I repeat something, that they gonna kill me.
Facts. I got told that same bullshit. So, that's why.
And he dead and I still ain't.
Bro, you're not wrong. The truth is stranger than fiction, brother.
I think we are, as a community, not just Black, Mexican, but everyone, I think, is waking up right now.
Definitely. Because if I would have started talking like this 5 years back, it wouldn't have hit like this.
Yeah, I wasn't in, man.
Phone them. But,
This nigga.
yeah. But like everybody is starting, even the animals know something is going on.
But do that mean we really waking up, or is this some like how we keep talking about psyops? What if this how we been prepared, like trained to think?
Yeah, so global consciousness cannot be psyoped because we're all going off how we feel. We're going off our gut feeling and instincts now, not what we're being told. That's the major difference. And people of all nationalities, race, colors, is all coming together to share their information. That's how you know change is happening, for sure.
So it's supposed to be a situation like a fight going on?
Yeah, apparently they want me and King Yella to get in the ring. So, shout out Whack. I'm trying to see what the numbers gonna be. You feel me? We gonna see what's to it. Because Aaron the plumber ducked.
Oh, you supposed to fight Aaron?
I'm supposed to fight Aaron. He ducked. I got the footage.
You talking about that video when he was on the ground? Or is that some different shit?
Before that.
Was that him training for you though?
Yes.
And that's why he ain't fighting?
Yes.
Damn.
Oh my granny. The match got made right up in here.
Yeah.
The match got made right up in here. He pulled out. He pulled out. He ducked your boy.
I ain't gonna lie, you too big, man.
Phone them. Man, I was trying to tell Dustin, but this ain't even no fair fight. But shit, they say me and Yella a fair fight though. We gonna see.
You feel like you got yelling?
Of course.
Say, of course.
Look, bro, look, bro. I'm trained for this.
As a man, you gotta feel like that too.
And if you don't feel like this, you should say your ass in the house. At the end of the day, you feel me? Like, I wasn't trying to hurt, bro. But it's a boxing man. We got 16-ounce gloves on. He gonna be good. But I'm going for the knockout fast. I gotta get up out of there.
Putting bets on it?
Oh, and I'm matching bets. And anybody who got their cheese, put that count on. I'm matching. I'm taking all count on, bro.
So earlier you had spoke on, knowing a couple of SEALs or something like that?
Yeah. So tomorrow, if y'all want to come out, me and some Navy SEALs gonna be going out, canvassing the community. We're looking for a young lady named Kazaria. She's 13 years old, been missing since November 14th. This is something I do every day, though.
I'm with that.
Yeah, pop out. We going outside. We documenting everything.
Yeah.
For sure. What
would be some of the most beneficial knowledge you learned from them? Maybe.
Ooh, situational awareness, bro. Just knowing that every room you walk in as a man, you should have a plan to kill everybody. That was the most valuable shit. They said it's not malice.
See, I don't do that in every room, but I definitely do that in areas where I feel like I can. Sometimes it'd be like, I don't got no win, but a lot of y'all gonna
see. I said that same
I be
to
looking
them.
for escape plans, but sometimes it don't be none.
Okay, well, there's no escape plan. You create one.
I'm gonna give you an example.
Let's break it down.
Back when I was shooting music videos, this a real example too.
Okay,
like, this is why I rock with FBG Young.
Shout out Mello.
I'm at a video shoot. I pull up with the white boy Billy.
Yeah.
He's shooting a video he's supposed to be shooting a video for Wooski and J Main.
Right.
Wooski don't come, he's shooting J Main video. Couple people there.
Right.
It's really a long story. I ain't even gonna go to the long story route, but short story, I ran into somebody that it was a crazy situation with him before, but it wasn't crazy with me. It was just
somebody else.
Yeah, some white boys. It was really some funny shit. The white boys tracking his phone, trying to find niggas all the way in O Block and here and there in the trenches. Yelling like, yo, where's my phone? But long story short, I run into him. He like, damn, last time I seen you, y'all got up out of there.
What y'all was at?
Somewhere around where they be at.
Okay. In the hood.
Because he tracking the phone. So I'm in a car, like not willingly, like this the ride is years ago. This is a long time ago. But I'm in a car with him. He tracking the phone. Me and Digi in the back seat, like what the fuck is that tweaking?
Yeah.
But long story short, he like last time I seen y'all get up out of there. Y'all was scared.
So he saw y'all didn't see him.
Yeah, I ain't recognize him.
Well, Mello slick with
not young.
Who?
It's I don't even want to say the
somebody
the
else.
guy name. Yeah,
somebody else.
I basically I tell him like, cuz your ass clutching, you got a hoodie on, dress down like this. I don't know you. I'm have my pipe.
You on point.
You be having pipe. I spoke too soon. Tipsy.
This Chicago shit for everybody that's
So
watching.
soon he say that, but then it click fuck he careful. So
type shit.
So as I say this shit, I peep, like I'm peeping what he doing now because I'm realizing what I just did.
Right.
I'm like, why the fuck I just
But
it just happened quick on some natural combo type. So I'm like, I'm in a party, I'm watching this shit. He get the talking to that nigga, they walk outside, they come back in, and he get the talking to another nigga, they walk outside, come back in, they get the whispering in each other's ears. So now I'm in this bitch thinking like, damn, I hope he don't try to do that because I know I naturally, like realistically, I don't got no win, but I'm trying to figure this shit out.
Oh my God.
I'm looking at this window, I'm like, all right, I'm going to pop in.
I'm finna figure something out of this bitch.
Like,
Chief.
The door all the way over there, I can't use the door. But long story short, like, I just got a bottle of Hennessy in this hand and my clutching in this hand. And I'm just, my ride, Billy shooting a video.
Chief.
I never say nothing to nobody. We get back to Billy crib. I never tell none of them. That's how I know Young was telling the truth. He was like, I don't remember exact words, but he told me like I had to tell phone them like,
get off that.
Yeah, like he in the car with me type shit. And I ain't really know Young like that on bro, so I fuck with him for that
Shout
shit.
out my boy Mello. That's a real nigga right there. See, that's something we would call having situational awareness and being on the X. When you on the X, you in the hot zone. And what you was thinking about was how to get yourself off the X.
Yeah.
And then
that wasn't possible, like without something happening.
Without using violent force.
Without something happening to me, I ain't gonna lie. Like I'm just one nigga.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a music video game.
Yeah. And then, people don't understand when you a music videographer, everybody got their guns pointed at you. So it gives you that feeling like, damn, like if I was enemy number one, I'm fooled.
It's over with.
You feel me? Like I said, bro, like I got my situational awareness course dropping. And you the only person who invited me to come to a gun range. So we got
these niggas be scared.
We got to collab. Cause look, bro, we can do a lot of shit. These
niggas be scared.
Do you think people from Chicago, naturally growing up, we have more situational awareness, more like life skills than other people not?
For sure. Because in Chicago, if you blow your horn at somebody in traffic, you gotta be ready to shoot it out. We resort to violence faster than everybody else. So for us, we've experienced trauma more than everybody else. So our survival instincts is just a lot.
That's why I ain't like LA.
Because in LA, bro, it's a false sense of security. You see them palm trees, there's weather, and you surrounded by sharks. In Chicago, you know everybody is shark.
Oh, bro.
And in LA, they run fades. Well, we not doing we only boxing our brothers.
That shit fuck my head. Imagine you in a roadway situation, somebody walk up to your car aggressively, and they really truly want to fight.
They want to box?
But
what?
It's like, I don't know that or believe
we don't
that.
know that,
like,
bro.
It's like, damn, this shit not gonna work.
These.
It's
we
like,
only fighting our homies, G. We only fight niggas we really got love for.
Like, if I'm arguing road rage or whatever, I'm not hopping out of my car walking up to you.
No, they hopping out the box.
Yeah.
That shit fucked my head up too. I said, hold on, get on, dude. He said, hey, I need that. You need what? Oh, so y'all running fades. We don't do that shit, bro. Our environment is a lot more advanced. It's just way more hyper aggressive.
People be getting killed doing that shit. It's like, even if you would want to, it's like, what you gonna do afterwards, gang? Like,
Just like they got DPs and violations.
it's like, what this
Say
shit
you gonna
lead
violate
to?
one of the guys. Oh yeah, I bet y'all stay right here. It's over with. They catch you, they gonna try to splash you. Photo.
So it's like, why? If it's gonna lead to this, why not just skip ahead?
For sure.
I ain't gonna say why now. I ain't preaching that, but shit, if that's the situation you in,
If that's the situation, look, man, at the end of the day, you gotta make it back home. That's the only rule right now. Make it home. Photo.
so I know you talked about it, but since this is our first time, I want to ask you about the situation when you had got shot in the head.
Oh yeah, so basically, hold on, man. Motherfucker. Oh,
I'm cold too. I only got a few more questions unless you got some. I ain't gonna ask all these.
I think we had a pretty good one.
yeah, we going crazy.
Yeah.
I ain't right knowing this many questions. I know.
And I'll make sure you get the film clips and shit thrown in the interview. I got all the footage from this shit. So you would ask me about the time when I got shot in the face. But at the end of the day, like I feel like as a pillar in my community, people depend on me to stick up for them. And I didn't think this situation was gonna go this far. But, somebody's who got hands and feet put on them took that shit personal, bro. And he put some cheese up and shit. They came trying to collect. Shout out to the Goulas, Free Dugas, shout out Turtle God, shout out G Lemonade, shout out Doc Block. And I was just blessed to have a solid group of homies, bro, because, I told my guys, I said, man, if y'all stand with me, it's what we on. And some people didn't, but the ones who did, shit, we've been locked in. And, everybody don't take ass whippings the same way.
Yeah.
And
That's what we're running fighting.
for sure. And, I know how it feel to have a bounty on your life. I know how it feel when motherfuckers come to collect. You feel me? And it was my day that day. And I don't glorify none of this shit. But in order for a man to combat evil, he must be able to enact evil. Even Jesus taught up the church before, slapping niggas and everything. And history was written by the best group of killers, bro. No religion, no border, no country, no ideology can exist without it. And I always tell people that, like violence is something in my toolbox, it's not my identity. And I was fortunate that on this day, they sent rookies. If they was top professionals, the outcome might have been different.
So a situation where they thought they got you, but they ain't trying to.
Yeah.
Like you was able to still move and shit.
So the thing was, bro, we had cameras on the slot, and it's a trap. So it ain't no running water. And we got Wi-Fi and electricity. And both doors, front door and back door, barricaded. But on the cameras, it was niggas in the back. And this motherfucker at the front. So I was put in a situation where it's like, all right, well, if I take the chance to talk to niggas, I die. And on the camera, fool at the door with his gun out, but he got it tucked on his side. So shit, I just blinked through the door. Chief. And it's like, man, my mama ain't finna cry, bro. And
Hell no.
you here, come on.
You already know.
You feel me? I know what time it is. And shout out my boy Big Dugas. He was like, you know what to do, BH. He said, I'm dying with you. And I'm like, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? And when you get that feeling when like, damn, here go my chance. I took that shit. I ain't gonna lie. I took that shit. That's why I tell people, bro, like, FN 57 saved my life. That 28 millimeter round, that shit go through doors, bro. You know what I'm saying? And
it's faster too.
it's fast, but that velocity is real. And shit, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Once the smoke cleared, I didn't even know I was hurt. You know what I'm saying? At the point of, I'll see my homies looking at me. They looking at me crazy though.
That's how it be. You'll be like, what's wrong with y'all? You ain't just see what I just did.
Right. They looking like, Gordo. Come sit down. So I sit down, and they had to be Hennessy and shit. Man, pass me all these drinks. But these the guys. They don't know that liquor thin your blood. So I started bleeding more.
Yeah.
But bro, motherfuckers showed me on their phone my face. I said, yo, no. But this shit was smashed. And like, this right here is permanently still fat. But bro, this shit was hanging down, bro. Like, it was bad. It was bad. But I didn't panic though, because like, I was hitting the arm and shit right here. I was hitting right here and shit too, but shit, like, I wasn't bleeding a lot, but I felt my body getting cold. And like my vision was getting a little bit blurry. So shit, I mean, niggas got me to the hospital, and ecstasy pills really saved my life. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, once that shit happened, niggas like, take these, you feel me? I'm chewing them bitches, you know what I'm saying? And my nurse said, your heart is beating strong. I'm like, you don't have no idea, baby. You feel me?
You was busting in the hospital?
I was busting, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I was busting so hard. Like, I was busting so hard.
That's a life hack.
Gee, I was busting so hard. Like, I chase that feeling though to this day sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never forget that. Like,
that shit probably dangerous then.
Oh, it's dangerous. It is dangerous because it's a somber feeling because you know you're not invincible, but God damn it, I'm hard to kill, Jack. You feel me? And my doctor, probably like 2 days later, my toxicology report came back. And my doctor was just kind of blue. Like, he was pissed off. He's like, yeah, your drug test lit up like the Christmas tree. But it all actually, that's probably what kept you alive. You're lucky, fat boy. And he walked out. I said, damn. And you know, I never want to experience shit like that again. But I think about it every day. It was a good day.
It was a good day.
It was a good day. My homie lost his eye that day too, though. Foul little fluid. Yeah, they came 223s and everything. You feel me? He lost his eye. The guy who had to put up money, put his nose back on.
That shit crazy.
I'm gonna send you all of this though, so you can put it on the interview.
Say less. We're gonna add that shit in.
Oh.
You got anything you working on? Anything you want to promote?
Yeah. So my Ladies How to Stay Alive kit is coming, and my situational awareness book is coming, and my movie coming out, the Retrieval series coming out. Y'all can look for that for this summer. Should drop like May, June. I'm trying to get the agreement with my boy so we can team up with some content.
Nah, we gonna make it happen, man.
Pardon my allergies, y'all. I've been in
That's
Africa.
one of the most annoying things. I ain't gonna lie.
I've been in Africa, like the outlet is just different. Like the shit out there. That's when I knew that this is really where I'm from, because I wasn't allergic to nothing. That shit changed my view on everything. And I wasn't sweating and shit over out. And I was losing weight, eating more food.
Yeah.
Bro.
Probably moving around more though. Hotter weather.
Yeah, it's just hot as a motherfucker. But, you know how you would get some food, leave it in the microwave overnight? Over there, that shit spoiled.
Oh, it was what you eating too.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they KFC the most fried chicken I ever had over there. Phone now. Only eat KFC over there. But no, that's it though. My Ladies Stay Alive kid is coming. Oh, the Big Bodyguard book is coming too. That's coming out too. Just stay tuned. You want to find your boy, BigHomie.cc everywhere.
Bros. So one of my last questions, I don't know if you got any more, but I want to ask you, like, what's one of your long-term goals?
One of my long-term goals is to make enough money to buy a plane so I can help more people across the world, send more kids to school. Yeah, last year, I brought home 17 missing women, 4 kids, 3 girls, 1 little boy. Paid for 500 kids in Africa to go to school. I want to double that this year. Straight up.
100%.
The people that want to get involved or help, what's ways they can?
If you want to get involved, well, you can find my land initiative, the Colony.life. We're building a safe haven in Africa for victims of human trafficking. And if you want to donate to my Feed the Children, You can find me on GoFundMe at Big Homie CC.
All right, say less, man. We're gonna see if somebody gonna send that shit through.
Oh no.
You got any more questions?
No, man, I think it was a great interview.
My dogs, my dog. It's been a pleasure. I would shake up with y'all, but y'all been saying I've been blowing my nose and shit. Hey man, I appreciate y'all. Dope interview.
Bro, I appreciate you too, man.
Yes,
You know,
bro.
we're trying to make this shit happen for a minute, man.
Been a minute though. We got it done though.
Yeah.
Oh no.
All right, man. It's your boy 16 shot on AP Louis, man. We out of here.
Shoo.
Hey, shout out to everybody that's tuned in to this video, man. I appreciate all y'all. If y'all want to show y'all appreciation back, just hit that like button for me, man. And follow all my social medias at 16 shot on Visualz with a Z. Last but not least, though, check out my merch, man. Check out the merch below in the merch shelf. If y'all see something y'all like, man, y'all want to support, you know, cop a little something, gang.